Hello and welcome to Outside Views, the channel where we analyze and question the monumental decisions shaping our post-Brexit world. Today we're delving into a question that would have seemed far-fetched just a few years ago. Is there a chance of reversing Brexit given the current geopolitical landscape? It's a question that resonates deeply, particularly as the consequences of Brexit continue to unfold across economic, political, and cultural dimensions. While the 2016 referendum may have delivered a narrow victory for Leave, the realities of Britain's departure from the European Union have been far more complex and costly than many expected. And now, with the world facing new challenges and Europe itself entering a transformative period, the possibility of Britain reconsidering its decision is back on the table. Brexit was not Britain's first major change of heart regarding Europe. In the years following World War II, Britain distanced itself from European integration, declining to join the foundational treaties that created what would later become the European Union. It wasn't until 1961 that Britain first applied to join the European community, recognizing the economic and political benefits of membership. Even then, its application faced resistance from within and outside the country, most notably a veto from French President Charles de Gaulle, who questioned Britain's commitment to European unity. It wasn't until 1973, under Prime Minister Edward Heath, that Britain finally joined the European community. And that decision too was contentious, leading to a referendum in 1975 where a significant majority voted to remain part of the bloc. Fast forward to 2016 and Britain found itself once again at a crossroads with Europe. The Brexit referendum was framed around issues of sovereignty, immigration, and a desire to take back control. But in the years since, it has become clear that leaving the EU has created significant challenges for the UK. Trade barriers, labour shortages, and diminished international influence are just some of the consequences that have emerged. Economically, Brexit has been costly. Recent research shows that UK-EU trade has fallen by billions of pounds since the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, the TCA, came into effect. British exports have faced new non-tariff barriers, and smaller businesses in particular have struggled to adapt to the complex regulatory environment. And politically, Brexit has left deep divisions within the UK. The Conservative Party, which in part championed the Leave campaign in the beginning, has cycled through 5 prime ministers since the referendum, each promising to make Brexit work but failing to deliver tangible benefits. And now, under Labour Prime Minister Keir Starmer, the approach has shifted to damage control. Starmer has ruled out rejoining the single market or the customs union, but has promised to improve relations with the EU through incremental changes to the Trade and Cooperation Agreement. You know about that one. And this cautious approach reflects the political reality that Brexit remains a contentious issue with strong opinions on both sides. But the geopolitical landscape is changing in ways that could make a reversal of Brexit more plausible. The EU is undergoing its own transformation, driven in part by the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. In June 2024, the EU began accession negotiations with the Ukraine, marking a significant shift in its enlargement policy. Ukraine's potential membership is seen as critical for European security and stability, and the EU is prepared to fast-track the process. And this move has implications for the UK, which has pledged to support Ukraine in its bid for EU membership. In an ironic twist, Britain now finds itself advocating for the enlargement of a union it chose to leave. The inclusion of Ukraine, along with other potential candidates like Moldova and the Western Balkans, could reshape the EU's dynamics and influence. As these countries move closer to membership, the UK risks being further isolated from a more integrated and powerful European bloc. And this growing disparity has prompted renewed calls within Britain to reconsider its relationship with Europe. Public opinion has also shifted significantly since the referendum. Polls consistently show that a majority of Britons now regret the decision to leave the EU. Younger generations in particular are overwhelmingly pro-European, seeing Brexit as a mistake that has limited their opportunities and diminished Britain's global standing. This changing sentiment creates a political opportunity for leaders willing to challenge the status quo. Reversing Brexit, of course, would not be an easy task, but it's not impossible. Many of the structures and agreements necessary for EU membership remain in place, given the UK's recent history as a member state. The process of rejoining would likely involve a new referendum, allowing the British people to decide once again whether they wish to be part of the European Union. And this time, the decision could be informed by nearly a decade of experience with the realities of Brexit. Economically, the case for rejoining the EU is strong. Membership in the single market and the customs union would eliminate many of the barriers that have hindered trade and investment since Brexit. It would also provide access to programs like Horizon Europe and Erasmus+, which have been sorely missed by British researchers and by British students. Politically, rejoining the EU would restore Britain's influence on the European stage, giving it a voice in shaping the policies and decisions that affect the continent. The EU, for its part, has indicated that it would welcome Britain back, at least part of the EU. European leaders recognize the value of British contributions to trade, science, education, and global diplomacy. While rejoining would not solve all of Britain's challenges, it would mark a significant step toward greater cooperation and stability. The question now is whether Britain has the political will to pursue this path, and if all European leaders can be very tolerant at this point. Keir Starmer's government faces significant pressure from both pro-European factions within Labour and Brexit hardliners who remain sceptical of closer ties with the EU. Navigating these competing interests will require strong leadership and a clear vision for Britain's future. Both is something I don't see at the moment. But as history has shown, Britain is capable of changing course when the circumstances demand it. The current geopolitical context, defined by war in Europe, economic uncertainty, and the need for collective action, may provide the impetus for such a change. In the end, the possibility of reversing Brexit is about more than economics or politics. It's about reaffirming Britain's place in a world that values cooperation and shared responsibility. It's about recognizing that sovereignty is not about isolation, but about working together to achieve common goals. And it is about ensuring that future generations have the opportunities and connections that only a united Europe can provide. So thank you for watching Outside Views again, and if you have thoughts on whether Britain could or should reverse Brexit, share them in the comments below, please. And as always, if you found this discussion insightful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And let's continue to explore the big questions shaping our post-Brexit world. Take care, and the next video is already right here in the end screen.